I think that slowly we are moving to an era where more and more, how should I put it, it's not that there will be a direct state of emergency. The crucial statement was by, I think, Rumsfeld or John Ashcroft, who said that the war on terror will never end, definitely not before 50 years. That is to say, the truly horrible thing is not to use Agamben terms, that normal democratic life will be replaced by state of emergency, but that somehow we would not even be able to tell the difference. They would be perceived as the same. So this may be bad news, but at the same time, these are good news. The enemy will be forced to show his face. Thank you very much. Okay, so how long did I speak? Where are we now?
1 hour and 10 minutes.
Ah, that's good. Okay.
Okay, but they took away your proof, no?
Oh, yeah.
But what on earth happened with happiness? You know, in the beginning it was all happiness, 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 and then no word of happiness anymore. And at the end, the enemy shows its face. Is that now? The good news is that now happiness is again possible.
Yeah, but I will tell you why. I have a theory of happiness, which is the good happiness. You know what? What you find, very briefly, not another 20 minutes, what you find in the best novels of Marguerite Duras, which is that usually, how does love emerge there? It's not, I look you eye to eye, we look into each other. It's that a couple is confronted a task of, I don't know, searching for a third person, and then you don't look eye to eye. You just hold hands and focus on the third element, and then all of a sudden you discover, but here I'm happy. Which is why, quite pathetically, I think that even intimate happiness is no longer today to be found in intimacy. Intimacy is already public today. You can have, I don't know, public websites where you can find, I mean, today everybody can confess his private secrets. That's not the intimate. The only space for intimate happiness must be created through some kind of new collectivity. More than ever, I think that when we speak about withdrawing into private life, I think that the true victim is precisely private life. We are getting less and less of what till now was privacy, was intimacy. But okay.
Yeah, but still, I try to.
You want to be happy?
I try to find. No. I want to be happy like the Czech people. You know, that is. I think it's a good idea. I'm totally with you that their happiness could be the worst what can happen, as long as we have a chance to be wrong about it. So we can still be optimistic. You know, we don't have it, but there is something possible, and so on. Is it not? If our life has now become after September 11. And I think it's quite an accurate description, something which is an undeclared state of emergency. You know, would that not be fit in your first part of your talk about this in between, in which happiness can be experienced? So you could say
quite in an empirical way, definitely. Yes. I think that Americans are now definitely happier than before. Because they have a strong power, you know, absolutely. But this is for me only.
We will report it to them.
No. Wait a minute. I can tell you exactly what I mean. I mean, before September 11th, there was still this, how should I put it, silent prohibition, not only among critical academics, but even among many, you know, they did Vietnam, they did many, there was a kind of a resistance towards simply identifying with American patriotism. I think that the result of September 11th was a kind of a, how should I make a verb out of innocence, innocentization of American patriotism. Like, now that we suffer this, we can be innocently, fully American patriots again. That's path to happiness.
But you have been in the West on yourself. You know, you should kill people who try to kill you. It's very simple. That makes you happy. Okay, but let's go back to the audience now. Please feel courageous enough.
Make me happy by killing me or what?
Make him happy by allowing him to kill you. Come on, guys. If I don't have volunteers, I take others. Okay.
This is just a minor observation.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Nun story with Catherine Hepburn?
Isn't that Audrey Hepburn?
Audrey Hepburn. Thank you.
That's not that. Yeah.
Okay, but it seems to me that both that film and I believe The Sound of Music are on the Vatican top 50 list of films. which says something about what they mean to Catholicism.
Yeah, but if we are referring to the same list, I must say that as many critical so-called intellectuals, I was rather nicely surprised by that list. It wasn't as bad as one expected. You know that, for example, of the Christian films, Pasolini's Matthew was in, and the most disgusting one, Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth was not, so that I remember Zeffirelli wrote an open letter claiming that Vatican is already occupied by communist agents and so on. No, there were many quite nice, that list is not as bad as one may...
I give it out to my students, and I get them to look at it closely. But the point I wanted to make is that it probably provided a model for some aspects of the sound of music, but there's a very different agenda. There are three fathers with whom she is in love. The father in Africa, who is the doctor, and she doesn't consummate that relationship, is sent back to the church and Mother Superior in Holland, and then renounces the church because her father is killed. And then, as the Germans occupy Holland, she goes out to the misery of community service in the service of soldiers on both sides of the fence.
On both sides?
Yeah, both sides.
So sorry, I haven't seen the movie, I just know about it. So what's the end? What happens at the end?
The end is that she's just going out the door after taking off her habit, and in a very clinical sense, and then she just moves out in this long tracking shot, and you see her in her street clothes moving towards the world where she is going to encounter misery upon misery. So it doesn't really reinforce the thesis about sexuality, I don't think.
Wait, but I think simply that this, I wouldn't quote this film then as an part of my argument as an example of happiness. I don't see then the continuity with the Sound of Music. Because the Sound of Music, is much trickier film that one may expect. I claim that it's a wonderful film in what sense? That if you look at it closely, you will see that, okay, officially it's Austrian resistance towards Hitler, the Nazis. But if you look really closely at the features, small features, it's really that the Nazis are presented as a kind of a abstract cosmopolitan occupying power, and the Austrians are the good small fascists, how should I put it? So the implicit message is almost the opposite of the explicit message. I think it's a much more reactionary film than it may appear. So I think the element of justice in the film is a nice detail, a small mistake. You remember that kid song, Do, Re, Mi, whatever, to sing. Then when they go into Salzburg, they buy some oranges. The movie is supposed to take place in 1938. They buy some oranges, put the image on a frieze and look in detail. It says they're product of Israel. No. So that's a nice kind of a truth of the film.
Okay, Jay?